Well, hello. Okay, so by now, most of you know, I have moved my family and I have moved to sunny Arizona and from Oregon. And my in-laws were actually visiting for Lucy's second birthday. I have a 2-year-old. It's so crazy. And I was talking to my father-in-law this morning over breakfast just about things he wished he would have done differently and his vision for this next season of his life. And it really got me thinking, I really wanted to get on here today and talk about what's happening in the world. And also, if you're a small business owner, or if you're just starting your business or wanting to do something, wanting to create something for yourself, I think now it can feel like a really scary time to do that. But I really want to put those fears to rest. And it's actually really, I felt like it was just so timely what we talked about. So he had mentioned, and I actually think this is quite accurate, it's something I resist myself, I'm trying to resist myself, is really being driven, why do we achieve? Why do we produce? A lot of times we can be driven by 3 things: pride, guilt, and control. And the goal, right, is obviously it's really good to be aware of what is driving me. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Am I just feeling like, I'm the only one that can do it? A lot of times pride is such a sneaky thing. You don't think it's pride, and then all of a sudden it just smacks you in the face and you realize it's pride. Am I just feeling like so guilty about, I really need to be able to do this for someone, or I should do this, and so I'm just going to do it? Or is it just like wanting to try to hyper control your environment, which really is fear, right? You're just afraid of your circumstance. So I want to switch that and talk about what the opposites are, the positives of that. So pride, really the opposite, right? Humility, really understanding, okay, I don't have all the answers. It's okay that you don't have all the answers. Having that sense of humility actually allows you to be more creative and more open to other possibilities, which is such a great tool to have. Opposite of guilt, I really think too, understanding that there is grace when we are not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. We're never going to be able to achieve perfection. And I think when we can really understand, yes, it's so important to own up if we make a mistake, but if we can really allow grace to cover our imperfections, it again opens us up to seeing more possibilities for our life. And it helps us be less depressed, honestly. And I think the third one there, so control, it's funny, a lot of times, I'm trying to remember who mentioned this, but a lot of times, people think the opposite of love is hate. And this person said to me, I actually think the opposite of love is control. And I agreed with them, because when you're so afraid, you want to hyper control your environment. You just want to control everything around you. You really become your own God. And I think too, when we can actually take a step back and realize my main role is to love well, it really helps take that control out of it. And to understand too, I think the other big part of it is to understand, how can we actually love? We have to believe that we are loved first. We can't draw from something that is going to never refill naturally. And so really understanding, I am loved. I am a child of God, for one. I am loved, and that love can overthrow the feeling of control that I need to have in my life. So with that too, I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about a creative power hour and why I feel like it's so important to really approach, when you're really approaching your business and you're like, okay, I need to change some things, I need to shift some things, or I want to start something. We have to put pride, guilt, and control aside in order for us to be creative, dream, see what's possible, and to be humble enough to really talk about these ideas that aren't fully fleshed out yet, right? So having this creative power hour is an opportunity to do that. You don't have to have everything buttoned up. You can come with a vision. You can come with your overwhelm. I think one of the things that's challenging in the industry that I'm in is there's so many options that people don't really know what to do. That would be able to specifically help their unique business. God designed everyone so uniquely, and I think that's the beauty too of creating a business, is no business, even if they're in the same industry, is ever going to be the same. So really being able to talk to someone that can really hone in your goals, hone in your vision, figure out who your ideal target market is, how are we actually going to reach them effectively? And then the biggest question, right, is how much money is all of this going to take? What's your budget? I work with companies that have a very modest budget to companies that have a much larger budget. And I've often found that, it really, you can still make an impact and not have a big budget. So depending on how strategic we get with your marketing. So my Creative Power Hours, that's really the goal of that. It's to hop on a call or a Zoom call too, if you like to see more face-to-face or in person. Obviously that's ideal, but depending on where you are, Zoom or phone call is going to be easier. And then we can really help you, I can really help you get clear on where you want to go, come up with some really solid strategies based on your budget on how you can move forward. And my goal is by the time that you get off of this call, you feel hope for your life, for the direction that you're going. That is the goal. And I think too, one thing that really drives me more than anything is I want to see other people do well. I want to see you thrive in this life that God has given you. And so these Creative Power Hours are obviously highly strategic, but I really want to spend a good amount of time really listening to you and really helping you be able to articulate what it is that you truly desire for your life. I think a lot of times too, we don't even really know what we want. And so I have some questions that I typically ask that really help you get super clear on your messaging. So don't be afraid if you just don't really know, or maybe you're doing something right now and you just feel really stuck. And you want someone to take a look at something, I would love to chat with you. You can sign up for my Creative Power Hours on my website. I have a little announcement bar too at the top of my site right now where it's super easy. You can just click there, go directly to my Power Hour, or you can also access that on my contact page. So would love to connect with you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day and that your day is filled with the opposite of pride, guilt, and control, that is filled with humility, a lot of grace. Receive that grace. And I hope that you know how loved you are. Have a great day.